Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's episode of Bookmas and the Literature with Lydia podcast. Today, I'm joined with none other than Mad's Library herself.
Hello.
Welcome. I'm so happy to have you here today. Um, this is your third time on
This is
the
number three.
podcast? Yeah, she was also the first ever guest on Literature with Lydia. She's mentioned in most episodes. Yeah.
That's life right here.
Yeah. Okay, so since I've already had you on the podcast, I'm going to ask you different questions,
Ooh, okay.
and I'm going to keep them focused on the season.
Okay.
First,
Love to see
yeah.
them.
First, to put you on the spot,
Okay.
what book comes to your mind when you think about your favorite book of 2025?
My favorite book of 2025. I'm gonna go Broken Country by Claire Leslie Hall, I believe is her name. And she has a new book coming out in the States here soon that I want to read also. But Broken Country, I believe it was Reese's book club pick. And it very much deserved that. Because some of those are a little bit questionable, but this one actually it deserved it. It was so good. I was hooked. I like illegally was reading it at work on Kindle e-reader. So yeah, it was that good that I was willing to risk my job for it.
Amazing. What is a winter book recommendation that you would have?
I'm gonna do a Christmas one, and we're gonna go Holiday Romance by Catherine Walsh. Catherine? Yeah, Catherine Walsh, not Kathleen. I need Lydia to read this ASAP. I have another one of my friends that I'm is currently reading it, and I can't wait to hear her thoughts on it. But it's so cute, so Christmassy. It'd be good even after in January to cure the
Yeah.
Christmas blues.
Perfect. Okay, and then my last question, what is your favorite Christmas song?
My favorite Christmas song is this is so basic, but Last Christmas, like that's just like a banger. That one by Wham and Nat King Cole's The Christmas Song. That so we have a banger and a classic, and those are definitely my two favorites.
I love it. I feel like that summarizes your style so well.
Much, yes, that's what why we're trying to curate here.
Okay, well, for today's episode, we are going to be sharing with you our book recommendations for you to add to your 2026 TBR. And so I told Madeline to choose books that she feels are underrated or just like not talked about enough. And so for listeners of the podcast, you might hear a book that I mention and be like, Lydia, you always say this is underrated. Yeah, okay. Have you read it yet? Probably not. So I'm just trying to help you out. So, Madeline, how about you get us started? Tell us the name of the book, the author, if you remember, and why you think they should add it to their TBR.
Okay, to start, if you know me, you know I borrow all my books from the library. So we only have one physical one here, but it is an ARC that I was so excited to receive. It's Shop Girls by Jessica Anya Blau. I feel like this one got a little lost in the sauce during its release because most people are really familiar with Mary Jane by her, and Mary Jane is a beautiful coming of age story, and this is too. It's so good. It's about Zippy, that's her name, Zippy, which is so cute. I'm gonna name my cat that or something in the future.
Cute.
Zippy is a shop girl. She's one of the leading salespeople at her local mall in the 80s. And I know that sounds so niche, but it's perfect. It's the perfect amount of niche. And you get to see all of the hierarchy of like being a seller on the floor and like the older ladies that are crazy to her. And she's also like growing, like obviously as a girl, because she just graduated high school. So she's like 18, 19, and she lives in an apartment with her best friend. And it's just so good. And I'm so sad that this release, I'm not going to say flopped because I loved it, but it really didn't get like I think the push that her other release did. So please reach out, girls. It's so good. It deserves all the hype that Mary Jane also gets. So this is my very first pick.
I love that. And the cover is so good. Didn't
It's
it
so
end up
good.
getting changed?
Yeah, at first it was like a mannequin head, and it was honestly it looked like a horror book. Like it was a mannequin head, and she had like some crazy 80s makeup. So this is a major upgrade, and it's so
For
cute.
sure. Ah, and you got an arc, which is
And
so iconic
Arc,
for
I literally
you.
reached out to her. I was like, I'm like your biggest fan. Will you please send me your book? And she did, and it was so exciting.
I love that. Shoot your shot.
Yeah,
Um,
always.
for sure. My first one is one that I've made Madeline read, and it's One for My Enemy by Olivia Blake. This book is just simply not talked about enough. I feel like people talk about her for, oh, what's it called? Alone with You in the Ether. And What's the other one? Not Six of Crows. I always want to say
I know
that.
what you're talking about. It's
The
the fantasy.
Atlas Six.
Atlas 6, there it is.
Yes. People always talk about those books. This one I hear every once in a while, but I feel like not nearly as much as it deserves. It is a contemporary fantasy set in New York City, and they are witches. Like, actually, what else do I need to say?
It's so good.
And like, talk about men who yearn.
That.
But like because it's modern day, like you get to read their text messages. And oh, it's also a retelling of Romeo and Juliet. I almost said Snow White. That's it.
So wrong.
And it's told like a play. So it has like the different acts and
It's so
I
good.
and the writing. Oh, the writing is so good.
It's
And
really one of my top recs from you. It's so good.
thank you so much. Yeah, highly recommend.
Okay. My next one, I'm going to look at my phone real quick because I have a big list. Oh, my next one is a really good one for this time of year, actually. It's called The Good Part by Sophie Cousins. I love Sophie Cousins. One of her latest releases just came out, and I feel like she's kind of underhyped. She has that funny, like, British slash almost Irish type humor where they just have like funny words in there and everything just hits so hard. But the good part is about this girl, I forget her name. I read this in 2023, but it's nearing the end of the year, the new year, she's reflecting on her life and thinking about her life. And she's like, my life sucks. Honestly, I hate my job. I hate where I'm at. I wish I could just skip to the good part. So she takes a fortune from a machine and she wakes up the next morning and she skipped to the good part. And this is not a spoiler, but it's just like later in her life and she like wakes up and there's like a kid poking her awake and it's her kid, but she's obviously never met it. And it was so funny and it was like a really good story reminding you to like be thankful for the time that you're in because it's the time that's gonna lead you to the good part, the best part of your life. So I just thought it was really special and it was really good to read. I think I read it in December of 2023, so right before 2024, and it just stuck with me. It's so good and it's very underrated.
And it is very good. I read it based on your recommendation and so good. I listened to the audiobook. I think that I want to reread it on like a physical copy. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I just get a vibe that I'm like, I think I would like this even more like in a different format. And I feel like that's one of them.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, but I need to read more by her too.
please do.
Okay, my next one is not only a recommendation from Madeline, but one that she sent to me. And it's The Lost Ticket by Freya Sampson. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Madeline just knows me. Like, this is like my kind of book. And first of all, the main two characters are like a younger woman, probably like late 20s, and then like an old man.
Mhm.
Like, that's all I really needed to know. But you get to know all of these characters as you go along the story because they're all trying to help this man meet the woman that he met when he was like a young person on the bus. And it's so heartwarming and sweet and like it has its like funny moments, but also like you just get to know the characters on such a deeper level. And I love found family.
Mhm.
So if you like found family too, you want a wholesome read, I think this is perfect for like this time of year because it's just so wholesome and like comforting. So that would be my next one.
Okay, I'm smirking because my next one is another Freya Sampson book that Lydia hasn't read that I want her to read because I know she'll love it. I actually listened to it as an audiobook, and that's how I would recommend it. It was so funny, and there was different voices. The narrator had different voices for all the characters.
Yeah, I listened to the audiobook for this one, even though I have the physical copy. And yeah, it was really good.
So good. No, they do a great job with the narration on her books, but this one is The Last Chance Library. And like you talked about that found family aspect. So I feel like in The Lost Ticket, it's like a group of people. This one is basically like a whole community, and you're getting so many different people. So she's the librarian at this library, and they're facing like, I can't remember the whole plot of it, but facing some budget cuts or something like that. And the library's going to have to close because there's another bigger one in their area that's doing more and getting more funding and stuff like that. So it's like the whole community coming together to save this library. And you see everyone from like a 7-year-old boy that's coming in to read picture books to like an old man who he comes in to email his estranged daughter on the library laptop computers. And as I said, if you know me, I'm a huge supporter of libraries and checking out library books, using their resources and stuff like that. So I feel like this was another important reminder of how great the library is because it's not just people checking out books, it is a third space, which are dying in our world today. It's a community space where everyone's welcome. So it was just so sweet. And the found family in it was perfect. Honestly, dare I say, better than the lost ticket.
Whoa. Okay, I will say though, I feel like when books have a literary element to them in some way, whether it's like a character's a writer or like works in the book industry or like something with the library, I feel like that makes it like even more special.
Step up for sure. But
Yeah.
yeah, Lost Right. The Last Chance Library and the
Okay.
Lost Ticket. Read them both. Come on now.
Yeah. I know. I have to add that. I'm gonna add these to my own. Okay, next, another book that I made Madeline read.
Okay.
Are we sensing a trend?
Yeah, I love
The Lovely War, or just Lovely War
it.
by Julie Berry. I do not hear this book talked about
Mm-mm.
ever. And it's a crime because this is perfect. I know it wasn't like perfect for you,
It was
but
it was it was the time. I agree. It's perfect. It's perfect.
if you like Greek mythology, if you've read Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross and you enjoyed that book, this one should be next for you. Um, it feels like a more realistic version of Divine Rivals because Divine Rivals is more like fantasy and this is like real life, but it's being told by the Greek gods. So whenever there's any part of the romance, it's being told by Athena, the goddess of love. Whenever there is something about wartime, because it's set during war, it's told by who's the god of war?
Aries.
Aries. Yes, thank you. And like it's so creative in that way. Like I feel like I've never read anything like that. But again, talk about men who yearn, which I feel like it's because of like that time. It's where
Mhm.
like you couldn't be seen with a man because that would be inappropriate. And so like if their hands like touched, you're like yeah. And I love that so much. So ah, it's intense because it's during wartime, but you get to follow two different couples. So there's like four main characters that you're following. And then again, you're reading about it from the point of view of the Greek gods. So cool and so unique, and definitely one to add to the TBR.
It's gotta be on the list. It's just profound. Like we read a lot of rom-coms, and don't get me wrong, I love a fun Sophie Cousins type stuff like this, but this is like a profound, deep love. Like oh, it was so good. Another fire wreck from Lydia. First sensation here. Okay, my next book, I kind of have a theme too of like authors have a more popular book, and this is their
Hmm.
second book or one of their later books that didn't get enough hype. So we all know Adrienne Young, and her most popular book, I would say, is The Unmaking of June Farrow or the Fable series, which are both great books. I love them both. But she has another book. It's called Spells for Forgetting. And it's about this woman who she works in her town, and it has a little bit of magical realism. Like the witchy side of it isn't the focus of the book, but just that little touch of it, like it hit. So she is like the local apothecary worker and stuff like that. And the love of her life, he left town 10-ish years ago. I also read this like 2 years ago. So we're just free balling top of the dome. Could not be right, but we're close enough. He left around 10 years ago because everyone in the town, it's a very close knit, very secretive, very spooky little town. Everyone in the town thinks that he is the reason that the main girl's best friend died 10 years ago. So you're getting then and now timelines. So it's an unfolding mystery and also a coming together again, second chance love. And it's so beautiful, so atmospheric, so fall, but also please read it this winter. Put it on your 2026 TBR. Read it in the winter, read it in the fall, read it in the summer for all I care. But I am a mood reader, and I would say it hit the most in the fall. I mean, it's called Spells for Forgetting, so very fall-esque, but it was just beautiful. And I think if you love The Unmaking of June Farrow, you need to go and read her backlist because there's some really good ones on there.
She's so good at like incorporating both magical realism, but like in a subtle way.
Yes.
And then also like the mystery. I don't know. They feel so unique.
Mhm. Like it's thematic, like you're in a movie theater watching her words and everything unfurl around you, and it's just beautiful. I was in a spell reading Spells for Forgetting, so please
There
put
you
that
go.
on TBR.
Okay, my next one, I feel okay, it matches your thing of like it's a popular author, but like a book that you don't hear talked about a lot. This is like my book that when I think of books that are underrated, this is what I think of. And it's The Soulmate Equation by Christina Lauren.
Ah,
I adore this book. I think I've read it 3 times, which I'm a rereader. I'm gonna do that. But every time I like pick it up to read, I'm like, I'm not gonna like it as much. No, I still am crying at the end. Like, it's so cute. So this is like your basic rom-com, but the premise is so fun. Essentially, the main male character, he works for a company that is creating this like dating app agency, I guess, where you get your like DNA tested and then they match you with someone else based on the way that your DNA like matches each other's. And that's so creative. It's kind of crazy to think of, but he ends up or the main female character, she ends up signing up for it kind of like as a joke, but she does it. And she ends up getting paired with the CEO, this main male character. And so it becomes this huge news because it's like, oh, not only could it work for anybody else, but it's also working for our like head guy. And it's just so fun to see how they like are so timid and like not really trusting if it's going to work at first. And then you see them as they're getting to know each other and going on dates and stuff. It's so fun and it's very sweet. I really love the characters. She's a single mom. I love her daughter. And yeah, really sweet and wholesome, like laugh out loud, funny. Yeah,
I think I need to give that one a reread. I love Christina Lauren.
I know. I
Books are so
haven't read their books in so long.
You also need to read The Paradise Problem. That's their latest release. That like quite literally shutting the book to laugh. And I feel like that doesn't happen very often. Normally you'll get like a little chuckle, but that one was so funny. All their books are so good.
Yeah, I know. I think I need to pick them back up again next year.
Give them another go.
Yeah.
Okay, my fifth and final underrated book. I actually went to the movie theater and saw Eternity. I think a lot of people have kind of seen this around. It's A24's new film where a woman ends up in the afterlife and she has to choose between her first husband, who died like 2 years into their marriage from war, who died in the war. And then she obviously got remarried, like met someone else, and they were together for, I think, like 65 plus years. And then obviously when they both die, they end up in eternity and they're like, hey, like you have to pick which husband you're going to spend eternity with. Beautiful. Gave it 5 stars. That and Sinners are my only two 5-star movies of the year. So that movie, the whole time I was sitting in there, I was like, holy cow, this is like a more serious version of The Love of My Afterlife by Christy Greenwood. I've seen a lot of people not like this book, which surprised me because it has like the same humor as Christina Lauren, Sophie Cousins, like a lot of people we've been talking about today, but it's so funny. It's about this girl who shows up in the afterlife. And similar to Eternity, you have an afterlife counselor who's going to help you and stuff like that. And she bumps into this guy. This is within the first 10 pages of the book. She bumps into this guy in Eternity. And it turns out he like didn't die fully, like in real life. In real life, he like hit his head or whatever. So he died, went to the afterlife holding space for a minute. She meets him and she's like, oh my gosh, this is the love of my life, the love of my afterlife, whatever. But then he comes back to life. So he's still in the real world and she's in the eternity holding place. And her counselor is like, you know what? You have 3 days. And if you can make him fall in love with you, then that you can go back to Earth and you can still be alive and you can live out your life with him and your love with him and you don't have to come to the afterlife yet. And it's so funny. Like the humor between her and the counselor, you get the POV of this other guy who, when she goes back to Earth, the other guy that's trying to help her set herself up with this guy that she saw a flash of in Eternity and thinks is her soulmate. And it's so funny, so witty. If you just watched Eternity, you need to go read this book because it gives the same feeling. Not quite as serious, but it was so fun.
That sounds so fun. I love that. I love like the high stakes when it's like not actually hall stakes.
Yeah. You know everything's there's bubbles on the cover. The cover is pink and blue and there's bubbles on it. You know it's gonna be fine, but maybe not.
Yeah. That's so fun. Okay. My last one, again, is a book that I made Madeline read. And it's The Dictionary of Lost Words by Pip Williams. I've never heard anyone talk about this one. And oh, it's a Reese's Book Club pick. But my friend read it and she told me I had to read it. And I'm so glad that she did. It, the whole, or I don't know how best to describe it, but to me, the energy is the same as like the Barbie movie.
No, that's very good.
They are not. the same at all, but it's the same kind of like feelings that you get after watching the Barbie movie where you're like, women are so powerful and so underappreciated. And this one dives into a lot of the history of the Oxford English Dictionary and how a majority slash mostly all of the people who worked on it were men. And so that determined a lot of the language that we use today. And it's very like male centered. And it follows a girl whose dad is working on the dictionary. And you follow over like many, many years. So she starts as like a little kid, and then eventually she is a woman who's also helping, but kind of like from the sidelines. And very fascinating. It's definitely more of a slow read. I think it's perfect for the winter. That's when I read it. And yeah, just like when you're done reading it, you're like, I love women.
I love women. I love being a woman. Like, I can't wait
Yeah,
to have cars of my own someday. I think the Barbie comparison was really good. That's
thank you.
absolutely how I felt closing it. Like, yeah.
Yeah, just don't go into it thinking that you're getting like Barbie.
No,
But
you get
like,
the girl power feels.
yes, yes, exactly. Ah, well, thank you so much, Madeline. I hope that everyone was able to find at least one book that they could add to their 2026 TBR. I know I have, like, I think every single one that you said. Well, except for the good part, because I've read it.
Yeah, you've
But
already done that one.
well, leave a comment if you have a book that you think people need to check out. And I'll catch you in the next Bookmas episode. Bye.
Bye.